Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Zadian. This is Kerbal Space Program version 1.0 and this is episode number 2 in our series. When we last left off, on the first episode we got some pretty good science. We didn't spend it, so we're gonna go ahead and start this episode off by spending it by buying 3 of the I guess they're tier 3 because of the first node you start with, but I'm going to call them tier 3 science items: basic science, some control, and also the node that has excuse me, has the launch pad stuff. That one, the general construction. That way we can put together some rockets, and we also got some struts with that too. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to ferry a VIP into a suborbital flight. Very simple. You don't have to get into orbit. You just got to take them up in a suborbital flight, escape the atmosphere, come back down. All is well. Little update. I did have a few more mods that were updated to version 1.0. One of them being TAC life support. What that basically does is add a life support function to where your guys can't stay in space forever indefinitely. You have to have electricity, you have to have food, water, all that good stuff. It doesn't add too much difficulty to it because the basic one, which is what I'm getting ready to put on this rock right here, which is that one, or not that one, it's the bigger one, the 1.25 rocket size. That holds like, I want to say like 200 days worth of food. It's pretty OP when it comes to it. But basically we're just going to build a rocket real quick that can get us into suborbit flight and bring us back down safely. Like I said, it's not going to be anything fancy. Just has the life support on it and some landing legs, because just in case I'm landing on land, I want to make sure that I can land safely without having to worry about the bottom pod breaking or anything, especially since I'm going to be having a paying passenger. So this will be the first time we have a paying passenger, and this is me just checking the legs to make sure they work correctly. So put a little parachute up on there. We're going to add 2 parachutes to the side as a precaution, just to make sure that we have a nice smooth landing for our passenger. We don't want to, like I said, we're just not running risk and killing this guy, because if you kill a passenger, someone who's paying to fly on it, can damage reputation, stuff like that. Trying to prevent that from happening. So we're going to work on the bottom stage now. It's going to be a very simple design. It is just going to be a medium fuel tanks and look, I'm trying to struggle to find it. It's just gonna be a couple medium fuel tanks, the rocket booster, the rocket with a gimbal, so we have control, and then below that is going to be the big solid rocket booster just to get us started. And just give me a second while I get all this stuff on there. Again, very simple rocket design, not complex at all, just enough to get us into suborbit flight. Also, a little trick for you guys: if you were trying to move your entire spaceship, all you have to do is hold down shift and click on it without having to click on the top of it. That will allow you to move your spaceship in one piece. By just, like you see there, I clicked on the bottom instead of the top. I did notice that my mouse is not displaying. I will fix that in the next episode. I had it turned off for a long time now, and I just never really thought about turning it back on. But when you're playing Kerbal Space Program, it's kind of nice to see where your mouse is for viewing purposes. Of course, I mean, I can see it when I'm playing. You just can't see it whenever we're doing replays like this. We put some of the new fins that we unlocked. They do turn so it gives us more control of our rocket, especially during the early stages, since the solid rocket boosters don't have gimbal on them. It can be kind of difficult to control that. But anyways, we're going to name this this rocket the ZDR VIP. Very simple, nothing fancy. And I put sub on there just to make sure that I know it's only capable of suborbital flight. So you go in there while you're in the hangar. You got to load in your passenger right there, or if you load it, if you just save and exit out of your hangar and go out to the launch pad, you can load it from there as well. But anyway, here's our flight. Of course, this is sped up a little bit. Hence the music. The lovely, lovely music. It is quite peaceful. Doing this at night, doing this recording at night, not the game recording, the audio recording at night. So I gotta be careful. It may put me down. I did notice on the last video, because I did only record one video, and I'm only recording one video at a time with Kerbal Space Program. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I'll lose track. I did notice that the dark is very dark. It is not dark on my screen when I'm editing it, but because of the conversion over to YouTube, it turns it really dark. So I do apologize for that. There will be some dark side, especially this part. There's nothing I can really do about it. Kerbal Space Program has a light side and a dark side, so there's really not a whole lot I can do before I have lights or anything. So I will try to avoid doing dark landings and stuff like that in the future, but sometimes you just can't help it. And you can see I was aiming for this landmass right here because I wanted to land on land and test my landers and see how I was doing. However, I got a little premature with the parachutes and deployed them way too soon. Not way too soon, but just too soon for what I wanted, and ended up landing in the water, as you can see. But at least I landed safely, and I did learn that the legs do survive through the atmosphere, that is good to know, especially when you're going to be creating landers to go into space later and come back. So as you can see, we didn't get very much science. We did, however, get a good little bit of money from that, and some decent reputation as well. So I'm gonna go through and clear these out real quick. You can see we got $9 grand for that and 20 reputation. That's actually really good. You don't really get big reputation a lot. Also gonna go ahead and upgrade our radar dish, so that way we can start working our way towards using nav points. And gonna go ahead and pick up Fly by the Moon. That's what we're getting ready to do next. And we're gonna create a whole new rocket, a whole new design for this. Going to the moon can be quite tricky, especially when you've got sorry, I just started laughing at the music. When you've got TAC life support, you have to plan everything out very carefully, because you can and you will run out of electricity. If you run out of electricity, it'll kill your guy. So the basic plan here is to put 2 science buoys on there. We're also going to put 2 goo canisters on there. When dealing with the moon, you've got high above the moon and low above the moon. I'm going to attempt to grab both of those. However, you will just have to wait and see how that turns out. But anyway, we're going to load this thing up with batteries as well, so that way we have enough energy to get to and from the moon, which is, again, very important to do. You have to have enough battery power with TAC life support, or it will kill your Kerbal. I have found that out many of times the hard way. And you can see with this, we've got a medium tank and a small tank and then a little poodle engine, and then we're going to put 5 medium tanks down. We're going to use the engine with gimbal We're also going to put on the side 2 big solid rocket boosters, and let's see if I can catch the name of it. That rocket right there, we're going to put 2 of those on there as well, just to make sure we can get some good velocity when we're going up. It is a little bit of a heavier load, so that's why I put those on there. They're probably not needed, but I feel that, you know, it didn't hurt anything by putting them on there. Also going to strut up the solid rocket boosters, 1 on each side, 1 above, 1 below on each side, so that way got more stability in flight. I'm still very nervous with the new aerodynamics in this game. Not very confident, but and we're gonna name this this rocket the ZDR Phoenix class. This is gonna be the Phoenix class rocket. It will go through some changes, but the Phoenix class is gonna be pretty much what looks like gigantic. I've got no other thing to say. It looks like a gigantic dick, especially with the 2 balls at the bottom. I mean, come on. I mean, they're very small, but anyways, it's gonna be the Phoenix class Mark 1. I like it because Phoenix, pretty cool. Anyways, we're going up with Jebediah, and I'm going to treat you guys to what it's like to run a full launch on my computer. It's not bad, but I've sped up the construction process on there to get through, because first of all, it took me a long time to design this thing, and then I was like, wow, this is really boring, I can't feel this. But I want there to at least be 1 full sequence of a rocket launch in my series, so that way you guys can see it real time. I mean, I know it's not too different from seeing it 5 times, but you know, 5 times fast, but still, it's cool to watch a live launch sometimes. And you can see, I was trying to conserve fuel here, but I think it ended up hurting me in the long run, and I'm gonna have to eventually get that material study someday so it quits popping up. But yeah, I was trying to conserve fuel here, but it doesn't work out too well. I end up having to waste more fuel here in a few minutes when I look at the map and I realize how low my apoapse is. That's why I put the Kerbal Engineer thing in there, but that one only works in the hangar. Oh shit. God damn it. Okay. Like I was saying, before my computer decided to go to sleep because I hadn't moved the mouse, it only works in the hangar, and I needed it to work out here. But yeah, whoops, shit like that's gonna happen. Anyways, you can see my apoapse was really low. It was like in the 30s, so I ended up going full steam right here to try and get it up some, and get it up to at least 100, which I'm successful in. But I did end up pushing it out further away, which makes it easier to get into orbit later, which is good. But as you can see, I ran out of gas right there, so we're gonna speed up to our apoapse and put ourselves in a stable 100,000 meter orbit, which I guess is 100 kilometers. I don't know. I'm from America. We use miles and feet. So anyways, 100,000 meter orbit is what we're going to put ourselves in. And when we get to it, I'll show you how, well, I should probably go ahead and describe it now, because once we get into orbit, I do speed it up, because the trip to the moon is so fucking long. It is so long. And so is the trip back. So I kind of chopped that up a good bit. But once you get into orbit, to get to the moon without any because I guess pilots don't use maneuver nodes, or I haven't unlocked maneuver nodes yet. I don't know. I thought pilots could, but I guess I'm wrong. Either way, without maneuver nodes, in order to get to the moon, the best way to do it is to get an equatorial orbit, like always. And as you can see, I was starting to fall back down to Earth, to Kerbin, I mean. So like all I do is point my nose up, and that fixes it. It raises your apoapse. It moves it forward, keeping it around the same height. So I mean, you're not losing. You're burning gas, obviously. You're burning fuel, obviously, but it doesn't. There's worse things that could freaking happen to you. Also, I just set the moon as the target. Anyway, what I was trying to say is when you're trying to get to the moon without any maneuver nodes, what you do is when the moon starts to come up over Kerbin, or right before it comes up over the horizon of Kerbin, when you're in space, point towards you point towards it, point not towards the moon, but point towards your where you're heading forward, the forward direction, and hold down, open the gas wide open. That's going to take you on a path to the moon, and you'll see me do it here in just a second, but it's easier to explain it while I'm slowly working my way into orbit. Again, I just wanted you guys to see a launch from start to finish, from the launch pad to orbit. As you can see, I mean, it's not the prettiest orbit. I don't even know if I look at what it was, but so this is me heading towards the moon. Like I said, right before it comes up over the horizon, I just started gunning it, and you can see as my apoapse rises, it's going to intersect where the moon is going to be. Now, by no means did I figure this shit out on my own. It was actually Scott Manley who taught me this trick, or didn't teach me personally, but watching his videos taught me this trick. So you see we got our encounter with the moon. It is far out. However, I realized after burning that far that I didn't have enough fuel to do a far out and an inner, like an out high above and lower for the moon. So no big loss. In between the moon and Kerbin, when you're in deeper space, you can pick up science there as well. So I did that as well. So I just decided to do high above the moon and then in between Kerbin and the moon. That's what I did with the science. And then all I did here was tweak my orbit to where it would come back down into the atmosphere, and I was guaranteed to come back to Earth. I mean, Kerbin. Now, here's the funny thing. I actually fast forwarded into the upper atmosphere. So you can see I got really, really far in before I even deployed the chute. It was like 10,000 meters before I even deployed the chute. So be careful when you're fast forwarding, when you're time warping back towards Kerbin. It can bite you in the ass. I got lucky, basically, because I was looking at the spaceship view and I was fast forwarding in and thinking it would slow it down. It did not. So I almost killed Jeb right there, but able to get some excuse me, able to get some EVA science. And as you can see, we got like 188 science just from that little trip. And we didn't get that many funds because we didn't do any missions except for fly by the moon. And another little warning for you guys: if you are going to add crew members, A, it costs money, and I'm stupid and didn't know that. B, if you go to get rid of them, you don't get your money back. That's right, you lose it. You're getting ready to watch me do it. I'm like, oh shit, I'm broke. I need to go ahead and send one of these guys back to the complex, you know. So I'm like, okay, the bottom one, I'm gonna send them back, and yeah, watch what happens. I don't get any of my money back. Come on, I'll figure it out eventually. See, watch. Didn't get a single dime back, and I'm like, okay, well, since I can't get it back, well, let me just put them back. Oh, I can't, because they're gone. they've been essentially fired. So yeah, be careful with that. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode. Oh no, wait, we're gonna spend some. Do we spend science? Let's see. I can't remember. So much happened. Yeah, it's the Ever Fly by the Moon. 100,000 resources, 100,000 money, which is really good, and I blew it. Blew it all. Let's see. Nope, nothing for missions. I think I'm buying another tier. Yeah, I think I finished up the third tier. Yeah. Finished up the third tier, and I'm going to go ahead and buy solar panels and another battery and some lights and another probe body. That way we can actually see some stuff. That's probably going to be the next tier that I get, either that or the one right below it, so I can build bigger rockets. Another thing I'd like to incorporate into this is going to be remote tech. It hasn't been updated to 1.0 yet, but as soon as it is, I am going to add it. It just adds a little bit more realism with having to put up satellites that can communicate to probes and stuff like that, instead of, you know, just being able to communicate with probes all the way across the universe. But anyways, this is going to take us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate a like, a favorite, and a subscription. If you could, please leave comments down below, and we'll see you next time.